The Solitaire Series, Episode 41, The Queen of Spades, by Troy Lampert, narrated by Troy Lampert. 13 days to Ace's party. Jack. The door creaked as it opened, and a face appeared round the corner, hair covered by a hood, blue eyes peeking out over a button nose. Jack sat up and looked, then stared. "Who are you?" Boris whined and padded over to the new arrival, sniffing the air. "You don't recognize me, Jack?" That voice. His dream. It was impossible, and yet... She unzipped the hoodie as she moved through the door towards the bed. A tiny gold chain hung around her neck, a tiny hummingbird dangling from it. She reached down and absently scratched Boris behind the ears. He didn't bark, and almost seemed to be smiling. "Katie? But you're... dead?" "No, Jack, and it's not Katie anymore. I had to change my name, move away, and I couldn't contact you until now." "What? This is impossible. Who are you really, and who let you in here?" "Joseph did, and it's me, Jack." "Tell me something only you would know," he commanded. He felt himself floating, an odd sensation. Maybe he was dead, and this was a final dream of some sort, but he felt the bandage on his right arm tug at his new skin as he sat up, something that got easier every day. "You see the hummingbird necklace? You remember it?" she asked. He studied the woman more closely. Her hair looked dark rather than blonde, and there were small streaks of gray. She could dye it, he supposed. The nose? Those eyes, though? They were things he would never forget. She was still slim, but not too slim. Not short, but not tall either. It was hard to tell from his prone position. Then her hand came into his vision, fingers held straight up, and on the ring finger was a still too large wooden ring. The kind that you'd find around a napkin. From their final night together, long before. The one he had proposed with before she suddenly had to leave. The night he should have stopped her, kept her from going without him. He thought he could have protected her. "I can see your thoughts, Jack Bardlow. I've been keeping tabs on you for a while now, as well as I could. But things have changed for me, and I think for you too." "What happened to your father? What happened that night? If you didn't die, why did you never get in touch?" The questions tumbled from inside him, and Jack was overwhelmed with feelings. Anger, surprise, happiness, all mixed inside him. But he also felt tears rolling down both cheeks, some from under the bandage on his right eye, through which he thought he could actually see more, better than he had the day before. "My father was killed. He and your father had more in common than you know. My mother and I were whisked away into witness protection, provided she would tell the feds all she knew about my father's business. It wasn't much, but it gave them a string to pull on." "So you couldn't get in touch?" "Not with anyone. I ran away once, almost made it across the country to you, but the FBI caught me. They couldn't take any chances and moved us again. After that..." She paused. Jack noticed Boris pushing his nose under her hand, and she gently stroked his head again. "After that, well, I gave up. I figured you had too. You never married?" Jack shook his head. "Anyone serious? Someone I should know about?" Jack shook his head again. "No one. There didn't seem to be any point. Besides, once I got into my father's business, relationships just got hard. Even though it came with some risks, I tried to follow your life. You were pretty secretive most of the time." "I needed to be," Jack said. "Not everything Dad did was strictly legal, and there is a large organization. In fact, it's probably dangerous for you to be here right now. Things are changing, moving fast." "I know," she said. "That's why I'm here." "How? What do you know?" Katie, or whatever her name was, sighed and put a hand on his left arm. Electricity shot into his brain from her touch, and he turned, staring at her. "You're part of an organization your dad helped grow and develop called Solitaire. He wasn't there at the beginning, but he came in pretty early." "You know the history?" "A little. My dad was part of a rival organization, but not in the same capacity as yours. I think they knew each other. Anyway, he shared evidence with the FBI to avoid prosecution, but knew it was risky, and someone couldn't have that. I didn't even know, but another week later, and we would have disappeared anyway. Jack, I'm sorry. If I had known, if I could have, I would have told you. What brings you back now? My sister. Your sister? The beauty of new identities, especially when you get them as kids, is that you really can go anywhere and do anything. I went into medicine and to help people. I turned to research, a quiet and less public life than other types of physicians. But my sister took business courses, criminal justice and pre-law. She's the smart one. But she didn't go into law enforcement or even start her own company. She came here, learned to navigate the world of Las Vegas organized crime, and hung out with the right people. Made some good money at the tables, something she got good at, but never got out of control. Then, when the time was right, she got married. Married? To who? A guy named Cliff. You probably know him as Ace. Her name is... Dahlia! Dr. Larry exclaimed. Boris barked, and Jack looked beyond Katie to see Dr. Larry standing there. Nancy, it's so great to see you. What are you doing here? Wait, you know Jack? From a long time ago. Nancy? That's your name now? Yes, Jack. She held out her hand, and he took it with his left. Nancy Hyatt, pleased to see you again. Jack laughed. Nancy, I like that. You know Larry, too? Where do you think he gets some of those great experimental, not yet approved treatments? She asked. I'm so confused, Jack said. He raised his left hand to his head. And so happy. What does all this mean? I had to see you again, Jack. I know it has been years, but maybe we can start over? See where it goes? You never married? I couldn't, Jack. The love of my life had already proposed. But I made a choice, Jack, the same as you did. It's safe for me to be back here now, and Dahlia helped me find a great job, at least for now. Jack sighed. He moved his right arm, which worked pretty damn well, he had to admit, and put his hand over hers, the one that rested so naturally on his arm. I wish I could offer you some stability, something. But as you can see, I've changed in so many ways, and things right now are so... I know, Jack. I'm here to help you with whatever I can. I'll be beside you and help you through this. Then we can talk about us and the future. Jack closed his eyes. He couldn't look at her while his brain processed what was happening. He couldn't bring her into his life, this risky situation. He'd be through it soon, he felt that. Until he was, though. 2 weeks, he said. Give me 2 weeks to get what's going on sorted out. Heal some more. I'll need more surgeries. Larry told me, you're amazing, Jack, for what you have endured. I can't talk about it right now. I'm glad you're here, don't get me wrong, but this situation is dangerous. I know that, too. Jack looked down. Boris sat at her side, looking at her expectantly. The dog had never met her, but yet understood her to be a friend, someone Jack trusted and cared for. Trusted? Cared for? Why had she really showed up now? It didn't seem to make sense. Something tickled at the back of his neck, an instinct that told him to be careful. I get it, Jack. It's a lot. I'll let you rest, but I promise to be in touch, okay? He realized he didn't even know where his phone was, and it hadn't mattered for days now, but suddenly he wanted it, wanted to ensure he had her number and all of her contact information. Whatever else happened, he didn't want to lose touch. Larry, can you get her number? And can you get with Joseph and get my phone? Sure. Let me walk you out, Nancy. I wasn't expecting to see you so soon. I'll be back, Jack. Katie, now Nancy, leaned over and hugged him. I love you, Jack. I love you too, he said without thinking. Her lips touched his cheek, and she was gone. Boris followed her to the door and whined as she walked out. Jack patted the bed, and the dog returned to him, laying his head on the sheet. Jack scratched his ears, and the Doberman's tongue darted out, licking him. His thoughts raced. Katie, No, Nancy, he told himself. Back here now. Ace's sister-in-law Dahlia, a part of Blackjack, her younger sister, a girl he barely remembered from the time he and Katie dated. In 2 weeks, 13 days to an all-important party where most of the cards on the deck would be in one place. All of them, if he and those he'd surrounded himself with had any say in it. The chance of a lifetime. He wondered how much Nancy knew, if she planned to attend the party anyway, what she was really doing for work here, whether she really wanted to rekindle their relationship or if he was being used. It hardly mattered. He had to give her a chance either way. How could he not? Almost 10 minutes later, what felt like an eternity to Jack, a man he recognized, Carl, walked back into the room holding his phone. Boris growled at him. "Aus," Jack commanded, and Boris sat, but remained watchful. "Jack, here's your phone," he said, glancing at the dog. "I asked Larry if I could bring it back, because I think we need to talk." "Carl, is it? This really is not a good time." "I'm afraid it's urgent for both of us," Carl said, "so I have to insist." Jack sighed. "Make it quick." "I've been hired by someone to kill you." Boris growled. Jack did not silence him. "And you think you can do that?" Jack asked. No, not anymore. And I don't want to. The trade was a new identity for me, to get me out of a bit of trouble." "The same trouble everyone here is in, I imagine," Jack said. "Who promised you this, and who hired you?" "If I tell you that—" Boris growled and moved closer. Jack held up a hand, and the dog stopped, but not without a sharp bark. "If you don't, you won't leave here whole." Okay, but you have to help me." "That all depends on what you say next." "This woman, she told me that compared to Solitaire, she was a great white shark and would turn me into fish shit." "Fish shit? Really?" Jack chuckled, and it actually felt good. His right cheek tightened, but it didn't hurt, and he didn't feel the odd rush of breath over his cheek like he had before the surgery. Suddenly, he wanted to see his face, to see what he looked like now and how far he had to go. "Yeah, she called Solitaire piranha and said that in comparison, her organization is a great white shark." "Really? This is not someone from Blackjack?" "I don't know what that is," Carl said. Jack shuddered. What if there were another organization out there with his same objectives, another group who wanted him dead badly enough to hire Carl to come here after him? What was this woman's name? "Nancy," Carl said. Jack's blood went cold. "Nancy?" "Yeah, dark hair, not tall, pretty." "Are you sure?" "Yeah, and she was here just now. I saw her talking to the doc and hung back so she wouldn't see me until he headed down the hallway toward you. That's when I asked if I could bring you your phone." "Thanks, Carl, for the information and not trying to kill me. I think you can see that is for the best for both of us, really." "You're right, Jack, and I'm sorry." "You were just doing what you were told and felt like you had to do. Now, Carl, I'm tired and I need to rest. Can you send Joseph in when you leave?" "Sure. Thanks for not killing me, Jack." "No problem." Carl left and Joseph entered the room a few moments later. Jack filled him in on what Carl had said. "You know anything about some other group?" Jack asked him. "Not a thing, but I can ask around. What should we do now?" "Let Carl go. Get him out of here, but have him followed." "You think he'll lead us to someone?" "No. I think when they see he did not complete his assignment to kill me, they'll come for him, probably to kill him. I want to know who they are." "Absolutely, Jack. You know I'm loyal to you, right?" Jack laughed again and felt even better this time. "No, you aren't. But right now, I'm the only one giving you what you need. Maybe in time we will form an alliance, but right now we have shared needs and can help each other. Let's not lie to one another, okay?" "Deal, but I'll do this, Jack, because if there's another group out there, that worries me." "It should worry all of us." "Keep me posted. Can you send Larry in when he has a chance? I know he has his hands full." "Will do." Joseph left, and Jack looked at his phone. It was fully charged, and there were no missed calls, but there was one little red number by his text messages. The message was from an unknown number, and was a single word, followed by a series of letters. Unreadable. UWXCZ GBVDZ HQWU. Jack sighed and sent a text to Joseph. He needed a deck of cards that was in his bag. It seemed he wouldn't be getting much rest, after all. Jack first put the card deck in the correct order. One code-named unreadable, one of 7 he had memorized. Then he worked it, following the jokers and cutting it appropriately. Then he translated the letters to numbers, did some math, and painstakingly decoded the message. His left hand ached. The whole process was odd and time-consuming, essentially one-handed, but he couldn't ask for help. So few people knew this process, at least as far as he was aware, and while he knew 7 code decks and could create others easily, he knew there were more. There could be hundreds. At least with a key to start with, decrypting messages was a little easier and less time-consuming. USXCZ became crazy. GBVDZ became 8. HQWU became king. Crazy 8 king? It had to mean something, but he couldn't imagine what. To figure it out, he would have to ask the new arrivals here, the ones he'd drawn into uneasy alliances with promises he wasn't sure he could actually keep. He'd have to trust someone with at least part of the truth. But for now, his eyes were heavy. He'd think it over and decide tomorrow. It felt like putting things off at this point could be dangerous, but he didn't have a choice. He rolled onto his left side and closed his eyes, his mind swirling so much he thought he'd never sleep. But exhaustion overcame him, and he did. Thanks for listening to Episode 41, The Queen of Spades. Up next, Episode 42, The 9 of Diamonds.